Hello. 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 Excuse me. Do I start?
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Devama. I don't think you know me. My name is Drishti.
Yes, ma'am.
Please don't call me ma'am. Just call me Drishti. It's
Oh,
fine.
yeah, ma'am. Okay, fine.
Yeah, and just can you just introduce yourself, just like a little bit?
Yes. My name is Devamma. I'm studying in third year engineering, information science branch.
Okay.
I'm from Bangalore.
Oh wow, lovely. I was in Bangalore last week. Uh,
Oh,
it's it's the weather is really good out there.
oh.
So you are reading this book, 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma.
Do I need to read, ma'am?
No, no, no. You don't have to read. I'll read it out. Like you have been reading it, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you liking it? Uh,
Yes, ma'am.
Like, is it interesting?
Interesting, but little bit difficult to understand, ma'am.
It's difficult to understand. Yeah, I agree. Even I had problem understanding. No
Yes.
problem. We'll try to understand it together.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Yes, okay.
Okay. So I am new to this thing. So basically, are these the people who are going to join, or there are more people?
Yes, yes. These are the people who are going to join. You can start off, and whoever will come will come. Otherwise, you just continue with these two.
Oh, hi, ma'am. I'm
Hi,
Rishti. I'll
Drishti.
be,
Yes, Drishti. Yes, Drishti. So please start off, and you can continue from where
yeah,
I
page
think
46.
page three.
Yeah,
Yeah,
page
page
46.
three
Yeah.
left. Yeah.
So I
Okay.
just start, just can you help me with something? I just start reading.
Yes, you just start reading and take a break in between to ask what everybody's understood, discuss what everybody's understood, and then go forth. Okay?
Okay, okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Mhm. You're welcome.
Please stop me if I'm doing any mistake.
No, 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 no. There's no mistake in
Yeah,
this. It's very simple. And
yeah,
we are
okay,
open to everybody's ideas on how it should be done. Don't worry.
okay, okay,
Yeah?
ma'am. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Bye.
okay. So I'll be starting with page 46. I think I can just start. A cavalry of wispy amber rays, the ethereal palette of the daybreak, and the quietude of this moment left him encouraged and awestruck. The entrepreneur studied the driver. So tell me more about your boss, she requested, restlessly toying with her device as she spoke. I can't tell you much more. He's worth multiple billions of dollars. He's given most of his money to charity. Mr. Riley is the most fascinating, generous, and compassionate person I know. He also has incredible willpower, along with having ironclad values such as honesty, empathy, integrity, and loyalty. And of course, he is also a real oddball, if I may be so bold as to say so, like a lot of the very, very, very rich. We have noticed, agreed the entrepreneur. I'm interested though. What makes you say he's odd? You'll see, was the stark response. The rolls soon arrive at a private airport. No sign of Mr. Riley. The driver accelerated up to an ivory jet that looked immaculately kept. The only color it bore appeared on the tail. In the hue of a mandarin orange, three characters read 5AC. What does 5AC stand for? Asked the entrepreneur tensely, gripping her gadget tightly. The 5 a.m. club. Own your morning, elevate your life. It's one of the maxims Mr. Riley has conducted his many business interests under. And now, with regret, this is where I must bid you adieu, au revoir, he said before carrying the luggage over to the sparkling aircraft. Two handsome crew members chatted near the metal stairway that led up to the cabin. A tastefully refined blonde flight attendant handed the entrepreneur and the artist hot towels and offered them coffee from a silver tray. Dobry utro, she said, greeting them in Russian. It has been a great pleasure to meet you, the driver called up to the jet, and he got back into the car. Kindly convey my best wishes to Mr. Riley once you see him, and do have fun in Mauritius. Mauritius, the companions exclaimed, as surprised as a vampire waking up to a garlic clove. This is all unbelievable, the artist said as he climbed into the cabin. Mauritius, I've always wanted to go to that island, and I've read a bit about it. It's a high frequency place, French player, tremendous beauty, and from what they say, many of the warmest and happiest place on earth live there. I'm blown away too, the entrepreneur said as she sipped her coffee and peeked into the cockpit. She studied the pilots as they performed their pre flight preparation. I've also heard Mauritius is splendid and that the people are super friendly, helpful, and spiritually advanced. After a perfect takeoff, the first class plane floated high into the clouds. Once at cruising altitude, premium champagne was served, caviar was recommended, and an array of fabulous main courses was suggested. The entrepreneur was feeling fairly content and far less incited by the cruel attempt of her investors to take her company away from her. True, this might not be the ideal time to take a vacation to learn about the 5 a.m. club philosophy and its underlying methodology that had served Mr. Riley's accent to business titan and global philanthropist like rocket fuel. Or perhaps this was the perfect time to get away from a usual reality, to discover how the most successful, influential, and joyful people on the planet start their days. After sipping on some champagne, the entrepreneur watched a movie. She then fell into a deep sleep. The artist had a book called Michelangelo, Fiorentino, e Raffaele da Urbino, Masters of Art in the Vatican. He read it for the hours. He read it for hours. You can just imagine how happy he felt. The jet made a trajectory over a time of vast continents and above varied terrain. The flight was meticulously conducted, and the landing was as fluid as the overall experience was fine. Bienvenue au Île Maurice, announced the captain over the public address system as the aircraft taxied along the freshly paved runway. Merci beaucoup. Welcome to Mauritius and Sir Sivu Sagar Ram Gulam International Airport, he continued, speaking his words with the well earned confidence of someone who had spent most of his life in the sky. It's been a privilege having you two VIPs with us. We'll see you again in several days. From what Mr. Riley's personal assistant has informed us of your itinerary. Thank you once again for flying with us, and we trust that the journey was elegant, excellent, and above all else, safe. A polished black SUV glittered on the tarmac as the flight attendant escorted her special passengers off the plane and into the humming vehicle. Your luggage will follow shortly. Not to worry, it shall be delivered to your guest room at Mr. Riley's seaside estate, Spasiba, she added in a graceful tone and with an earnest wave. This is so A-list, observed the entrepreneur as she happily snapped some selfies, uncharacteristically pouting like a fashionista. Deaf, replied the artist as she photobombed her, sticking out his tongue like Albert Einstein did in that famous photo that betrayed his seriousness as a scientist and revealed his undiminished childlike sense of wonder. As the Range Rover rolled along the highway, tall stalks of sugarcane swayed in the fragrant breezes blown by the Indian Ocean. The quiet chauffeur wore a white cap, the kind you see bellmen at five-star hotels wearing, and a well-pressed dark grey uniform that hinted at an understated yet refined professionalism. He never missed slowing down when the speed limit descended and ensuring his signal light was on whenever a turn was to be made. Though it was evident that the man was older, he moved the vehicle along the roadway with the precision of a young apprentice dedicated to becoming the absolute best. Through the drive, his focus remained transfixed on the pavement ahead, in a sort of trance designed to keep his passengers secure yet deliver them to their destination with a smooth efficiency. They passed through some tiny villages that had timeless feel. Bougainvillea lined the streets. Wild dogs with the king of the road demeanors stood at the meridian line, confronting the SUV in a deadly game of chicken, and children playing on small grassy lawns with the thoughtless abandon. Roosters could be heard shrieking from time to time, and old men in basic woolen hats with tooth missing mouths and chestnut colored skin sat on weather beaten wooden chairs. They looked like they had too many hours to pass in the day, at once tired from life's hardship and yet wise from days fully lived. Choirs of upbeat birds sang melodically, while colorful butterflies seemed to be fluttering everywhere. In one tiny community, the SUV snaked through. A skinny boy with legs that appeared too long for his body pedaled a banana bike with a seat that was set too high on his creaky metal frame. In another, a group of teenage girls in tank tops, surf shorts, and flip flops shuffled along the narrow but attentively maintained road following a man in army green cargo shorts, wearing a t-shirt that had the number one flamed grilled chicken printed on the back of it. Everything seemed to move on island time. People looked cheerful. They beamed with a radiant vitality, not so commonly seen in the overscheduled, machine-dominated, and sometimes soulless lives so many among us are experiencing. The beaches were unspeakably beautiful, the gardens were entirely glorious, and the entire Gaggian-looking scene was draped by a series of mountains that looked like they would been carved by a 16th century Florentine sculpture. See that sculpture up there, the driver said, breaking his self imposed silence and pointing to a rock formation at the top of one of the peaks that resembled a human figure. That's called Peterboth. It's the second highest mountain in Mauritius. See the summit up there. It resembles a human head, right? He noted with a figure pointed upward at the structure. He does, responded the artist. When we were in elementary school, the chauffeur continued, we were told the story of a man who fell asleep at the foot of the mountain. Hearing strange sounds, he woke up to see fairies and angels dancing all about him. These creatures instructed the man never to tell anyone what he had just seen, or he would be turned to stone. He agreed, but then, given his excitement over the mystical experience he had witnessed, broke his commitment and told many of his good fortune. Upset, the fairies and angels turned him to rock, and his head swelled to such a degree it rose to sit at the peak of the majestic mountain you both are looking at now, reminding everyone who sees it to keep their promises and honor their word. The SUV meandered past another community. Music played from a small loudspeaker on a front porch as two teenage boys and three teenage girls with white and pink flowers in their hair danced gleefully. Another dog barked modestly in the background. Great story, noted the entrepreneur. Her window was open and her wavy brown hair flitted in the wind. Her usually lined face now appeared completely smooth. She enunciated her words more slowly now. An unprecedented peacefulness emerged from her voice. One of her hands rested on the seat, not so far from where a hand of the artist, which bore finely etched tattoos on its middle and index finger, lay. Mark Twain wrote, Mauritius was made first and then heaven, and heaven copied Mauritius. The driver shared, now warming up after being somewhat steely. He beamed as proudly as the president on Inauguration Day after saying what he had just said. Never seen anything like this, the artist said. His God meets angry man hostility, now replaced with a more untroubled, carefree, and relaxed demeanor. And the vibe I feel here is stirring something deeply creative inside of me. The entrepreneur glanced at the artist for a little longer than was politely acceptable. Then she looked away out at the sea. Though reluctant, she couldn't help but smile gently. The driver could be heard whispering into the SUV speakerphone. 5 minutes away, then he handed each of his passengers a handcrafted tablet that seemed made of gold. Please study these, he told them. Engraved finely in the apparently precious metal were 5 statements. Here's what the tablets looked like. Rule 1. An addiction to distraction is the end of your creative production. Empire makers and history creators take 1 hour for themselves before dawn in the serenity that. Uh, yes. Hello. Hello.
Yes,
Devama, you were saying something?
I was reading that line without knowing I have unmuted.
Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Rule 1. An addiction to distraction is the end of your creative production. Empire makers and history creators take 1 hour for themselves before dawn in the serenity that lies beyond the clutches of complexity to prepare themselves for a world class day. Rule 2. Excuses breed no genius. Just because you haven't installed the early rising habit before doesn't mean you can't do it now. Release your rationalizations and remember that small daily improvements, when done consistently over time, lead to stunning results. Rule 3. All change is hard at first, messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end. Everything you know, find easy, you first found difficult. With consistent practice, getting up with the sun will become your new normal and automatic. Rule 4. To have the results the top 5% of producers have, you must start doing what 95% of the people are unwilling to do. As you start to live like this, the majority will call you crazy. Remember that being labeled a freak in the price of greatness. Rule 5. When you feel like surrendering, continue. Triumph loves the relentless. The vehicle slowed to crawl as it passed an orderly row of faded white beach houses. A compact pickup truck was parked in the dusty driveway of one house. Dive gear was strewn across the front yard of another. In front of the last house, a gaggle of kids played in a yard, laughing hysterically as they enjoyed their game. The ocean appeared, both greenish and bluish, with foam-topped waves making sashing sounds before colliding with the sandy shore. The air now smelled a marine life smell, yet sweet like nectar with unexpected cinnamon. Hints blended into it. On a white plank dock, a thin line of a man with a Santa Claus beard and rolled up khakis fished barefoot for his family's dinner. A motorcycle helmet was perched on his old head. The sun was beginning to set, a glamorous spear of blinding radiance that cast liquid yellow streaks and reflections on the welcoming water that lay before it. Birds still chirped, butterflies still flew. Quite magical, all of this. "We are here," announced the chauffeur into an intercom perched beside a metal fence that seemed to have been erected more to keep wildlife out than to prevent interlopers from getting in. The gate opened slowly. The SUV rolled down a winding road teeming with bougainvillea, hibiscus, frangipani, and Bolshe de Orelli, the national flower of Mauritius, along the sides. The driver opened his window, inviting in a sea breeze carrying a swirling scent that also included fresh jasmine mixed with rich roses. Gardeners in small gardening attire waved sincere waves. One shouted bonjour as the vehicle sailed by, and another said bonjour as two fat doves, the size of a trucker's fish, hopped along a stone path. The billionaire's house was low key. The design was of the beachfront chic sort, kind of a Martha's Vineyard cottage meets Swedish farmhouse feel. It was both sensationally beautiful and completely private. A massive veranda at the back of the home extended over the ocean. A muddy mountain bike leaned against a wall. A surfboat rested near the end of the driveway. Massive floor to ceiling windows were the only extravagant architectural flourish.
You
More
can
precious
stop,
flowers.
Drishti, you can just stop and ask them what they understood and if they have any doubts.
Okay, ma'am. Sorry if I continued for a long time.
No, 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 no. I'm just giving you some time so that you have enough time for discussion and reading again.
Yes, ma'am. We can stop here and then yeah.
Yeah.
So, any thoughts on whatever we have read till now? Devama and Taranjeet. You people have any doubt, you can ask me. I'll try to solve it for you.
I have no doubt, but that five rules, I like that third rule, ma'am.
You are asking about the third rule?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Just give me a second. Yeah. The
Uh,
third rule said,
uh,
uh,
all all changes all changes are at first messy in the middle, and gorgeous at the end.
Yeah. So what is your doubt?
Actually, I have no doubt, but I like that
Yeah,
rule.
yeah. Actually, this is a very impressive rule.
Yes,
Like
ma'am.
it actually tells you so much about how we are, that
Yes,
how we take changes. Like firstly, we think that why do we want this change? We don't like it. Then we
yes,
try to adjust with it. And then at the end, when we see the good results, which we always wanted, it is so good for us.
yes,
Yeah, I agree. The rule three is very nice. In fact, I feel all the rules stated are very nice. Even
yes,
I liked rule four a lot because it is what exactly we have to do.
yes, ma'am.
Yeah, any other opinions you have? Anything you liked or something you disagree to?
Taranjeet, would you like to say something?
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Drishti. You're reading very beautifully for us. The rule two, excuses breed no genius. Here, I had coined a phrase you say, or proverb, or an idiom. I always used to say to my children, excuses are the nails on which houses of failure are built. So this is
Yeah.
something relating to that. It's really very good. I like that thing very much. Excuses breed no genius, and it's very true. Like what I used to say, I think I can correlate with this.
I think that is what all our professors, teachers, also our parents keep telling us that all
Yes.
because as children, all we just have one thing, like we just frame some excuse to not do things. So I
Yes.
think yeah, this is something which tells a lot about us.
And it like my children means my school children and everybody, they still remember this, that madam used to say two phrases always. First is excuses are the nails on which houses of failure are built, and second is I can take the horse to the water but can't make it drink.
Yeah, yeah, so
So
true.
this is something
Actually,
no, and many of them have been very extremely successful. And they still say, ma'am, we remember this. The first thing in the morning, we remember this. Ma'am used to say this.
yeah, I totally agree with that. I think
And
people around me also keep telling me that.
mhm. And the description of the island is really, really beautiful. Like each, you can visualize it, whatever the words that the author has written, you can visualize each and everything.
Yeah, like
It's
I have never
beautiful.
been to Mauritius, but it feels as if you are a part of that
Yes,
imagination.
it's really very beautiful. Very beautiful.
Yeah, it's written so up to the mark, like you can actually imagine being there.
Yes. Each and every detail, like children are playing, somebody's fishing, the old men are sitting. So each and everything is very beautifully written. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Your words really meant a lot.
You can continue, Drishti.
Okay, ma'am. A massive veranda at the back of the home extended over the ocean, a muddy mountain bike leaned against a wall, a surfboard rested near the end of the driveway. Massive floor to ceiling windows were the only extravagant architectural flourish. More precious flowers were meticulously arranged along a deck, while a trolley supporting hors d'oeuvres, assorted cheeses, and a service of fresh lemon tea with precisely cut slices of ginger waited. Sun bleached grey steps wound down to a breathtakingly lovely beach, the type seen in the travel magazines the elite crowd like to read. Amid all this exquisiteness, an isolated figure stood on the milk colored sand. He made not one movement, perfect stillness. The man was Eiffel Tower tall, shirtless and bronzed, and sporting a pair of loose shorts with a camouflage pattern, canary yellow sandals, and uh, uber stylish sunglasses, the kind you might purchase on Via de Condotti in Rome, completed the surfer Jen meets Soho swagger appearance. He peered out into the sea, remaining still as a star in the big African sky. There, said the entrepreneur, pointing, we finally get to see our host, the illustrious Mr. Riley, she noted energetically, picking up her pace as she hustled down the wooden stairs that led to the seashore. Look at him. He's just hanging out by the water, soaking up those rays and totally loving life. Told you he's special. So happy I trusted my gut and agreed to this wonderful escapade. He's been true to his word in a world where too many people say things they never do and make promises they fail to keep. He's been super consistent. He's treated us so well. He doesn't even know us, and yet he's really trying to help us. Zero doubt in my mind he's got our backs. Hurry up, will you? She urged her slow moving companion as she waved an encouraging hand. I feel like giving Mr. Riley a giant hug. The artist laughed as a baby gecko jaywalked across a broad plank. He took off his black shirt in the dazzling sunshine, exposing a Buddha sized belly and a man breast the size of fleshy mangoes. Me too, he does walk his preach. Man, I need to get some sun. The painter murmured as he sped up to stay close to the entrepreneur. He breathed hard. As the two guests walked toward the man at the water's edge of this nirvana of an ocean compound, they observed there were no other side, not even one. Just a few wooden fishing boats with paint peeled off from the passage of years, moored in the shallow waters near the shore. And aside from the sun worshipping empire builder in Italian shades, there was no other human being in evidence anywhere. Mr. Riley shouted the artist now on the sand, hungrily sucking air into the extraordinarily unfit lungs. The slender figure remained as fixed as a palace guard awaiting the arrival of the royal motor guard. Mr. Riley echoed the entrepreneur passionately. No response. The man just kept looking out at the sea and at container ships the size of football stadiums that sat sprinkled across the horizon. The artist soon stood behind the set of intensely tanned shoulders of the figure and tapped 3 times on the left one. Instantly, the figure spun around. The two visitors gasped. The entrepreneur put a slender hand over her mouth. The artist jerked backward, instinctively before falling to the sand. Both were stunned by what they saw. It was the spellbender. Wow, declared the entrepreneur with a crooked smile that displayed part surprise and part delight. We were at your seminar. You were brilliant up on that stage. She finally managed to express, pivoting impressively from soft shock to the master of the universe, business bearing she was more accustomed to. I led a technology company. We are what pundits in our industry call a rocket ship because of the exponential growth we have been experiencing. Things were going phenomenally well until a little while ago, the entrepreneur's voice trailed off. She looked away from the spellbinder and stared at the artist. For a moment, she played nervously with her bracelets. The lines along her face became more vivid, and her visage gave off her heavy, tired, and injured look in that instant on that spectacular beach. What happened? Asked the spellbinder. To your business? Some of the people who invested in my enterprise felt I had too much equity in it. They wanted more for themselves, super greedy people. So they manipulated my executive team, convinced key employees to rally against me, and are now trying to throw me out of the firm. That place is my whole life, the entrepreneur choked up. A school of luxuriously colored tropical fish swarmed through the shallow water at the edge of the sand. I was ready to take my life, she carried on, until I showed up at your seminar. Many of your nuggets of knowledge gave me hope. A lot of your words made me feel strong again. Not sure exactly what it was, but you pushed me to believe in myself and my future. I just want to thank you. She embraced the spellbinder. You have started me on the journey to optimizing my life. Thank you so much for your generous words, the spellbinder replied, appearing dramatically different from the way he looked the last time the entrepreneur and the artist saw him. Not only did he have the healthy glow people get from time in the sun, he now stood steadily and had gained a little weight. I'm grateful for what you have done, the spellbinder continued, but the truth is that I didn't start you on the quest to improve your life. You are changing your life by starting the process of bringing application to my insights and methods by implementing my teachings. So many people chart a good game. They tell you all the ambitions they are going to get done and all the aspirations they plan to deliver on. I'm not judging, I'm just reporting. I'm not complaining, I'm just saying. Most people stay the same their entire lives, too frightened to leave the way they operated yesterday, married to the complacency of the ordinary, and wedded to the shackles of conformity, while resisting all opportunity for growth, evolution, and personal elevation. So many good souls among us are just so scared, they refuse the call on their lives to go out into the blue ocean of possibility, where mastery, the dignity of bravery, and the authenticity of audacity await them. You had the wisdom to act on some of the information I shared at my event. You are one in a tiny minority of people alive today, willing to do what it takes to become a better leader, producer, and human being. Good on you, and I know transformation isn't an easy play. Yet the life of the caterpillar must end for the glory of the butterfly to shine. The old you must die before the best you can be born. You're so smart not to wait until you have ideal conditions to step up to a work world and private life of stainless excellence. Great power is unleashed with a simple start. When you begin to close the loop opened by your utmost aspirations by making them real, a secret heroic force within you makes itself known. Nature notices your effortful actions and then goes ahead and replies to your faithful commitment with a series of unanticipated wins. Your willpower heightens, your confidence climbs, and your brilliance soars. A year from now, you'll be so happy you began today. Thank you, said the entrepreneur. I heard a man say he needed to lose weight before he could start running. Imagine that. Lose the weight so he could initiate the running habit. That's like a writer who waits for inspiration to begin the book, or the manager who waits for a promotion to lead the field, or a startup that waits for full funding before launching a status quo disrupting product. The flow of life rewards positive action and punishes hesitation. Anyway, I'm thrilled I could contribute to your rise in some small way. Sounds like you are at a difficult yet exciting time on your personal adventure. Please consider that a bad day for the ego is a great day for the soul, and what your voice of fear claims is a mean season, the light of your wisdom knows is a splendid gift. We thought you were dead, the entrepreneur announced unfiltered. Thank God you're okay, and I appreciate how humble you are. I believe the humblest is the greatest. Pure leaders are so secure in their own skin. Their main mission is the elevation of others. They have such self respect, joyfulness, and peacefulness within themselves that they don't need to advertise their success to society in a feeble attempt to feel a little better. I should also say, if I may, there's a big difference between real power and fake power. The spellbinder explained, dropping even deeper into the guru mode that had made him so famous worldwide. Our culture tells us to pursue titles and trinkets, applause and acclaim, money and mansions. All that's fine, it truly is. So long as you don't get brainwashed into defining your worth as a human being by these things. Enjoy them, just don't get attached to them. Have them, just don't base your identity around them. Appreciate them, just don't need them. These are only forms of fake power our civilization programs us to believe we must pursue to be successful and serene. The fact is that you lose any one of these things, the substitute power you derive from them evaporates, just vanishes in an instant, revealing itself as the illusion it was. Tell us more, please. The entrepreneur was observing every word. Real power never comes from anything external, the spellbinder continued. A lot of people with a lot of money aren't very wealthy. Take that line to the bank, stated the spellbinder as he slipped off his bright yellow flip flops and placed them neatly on the sugary sand. Genuine power, the stuff legends are made of, doesn't arise from who you are outside and what you possess externally. The world is lost right now. True and enduring power express itself when you contact your original gifts and realize your most lavish talents as a human. I should also say, real riches come from living by the noble virtues of productivity, self discipline, courage, honesty, empathy, and integrity, as well as being able to lead your days on your own terms versus blindly following the sheep that so many in our sick society have been trained to become. Sheeple is what too many people now are. The excellent news is that this kind of power I speak of is available to anyone alive on the planet today. We might have forgotten and disowned this form of potency we have as life has hurt, disappointed, and confused us. But it's still there, waiting for us to build a relationship with it and develop it. All of the great teachers of history owned very few things. When Mahatma Gandhi died, he had about 10 possessions, including his sandals, a watch, his eyeglasses, and a simple bowl to eat from. Mother Teresa, a prosperous of heart and rich with the authentic power to influence millions, died in a tiny room containing almost no worldly goods. When she would travel, she would carry all her things in a white cloth bag. Why do so many of the heroes of humanity have so little? Asked the artist, now relaxing on the sand. Because they have reached a level of individual maturity that allowed them to see the futility of spending their days chasing objects that count for nothing at the end. And they had cultivated their characters to such a degree that they no longer had the common need of most to fill the holes within themselves with distractions, attractions, escapes, and luxuries. The more that appetite for superficial possessions dematerialized, the more hungry they became for substantial pursuits like honoring their creative vision, expressing their inherent genius, and living by a higher moral blueprint. They viscerally understood that being inspirational and masterful and fearless are all inside jobs. And once true power is assessed, external substitutes pale in comparison to the feelings of fulfillment this treasure provides. Oh, and these heavyweights of history, as they discovered their supreme natures, also come to realize that one of the primary aims of a wonderfully crafted life is contribution, impact, usefulness, helpfulness. What business builders might call unlocking stakeholder value. Like I suggested at my seminar before I fell, to lead is to serve. I, the philosopher Rumi made the point much more brilliantly than I ever could when he observed, give up the drop, become the ocean. Thanks for sharing, offered the entrepreneur, sincerely sitting down next to the artist on the stand and placing one of her hands carefully on a short distance away from one of his. It's good to see you are doing better, mentioned the artist. His boots now off, he was sockless. As he passed in the strong rays like a sunbathing cat, he asked, what the heck happened to you anyway? Exhaustion confined the spellbinder. Too many cities, too many airplanes, too many media appearances, too many presentations. I just ground myself down in pursuit of my mission to help people accelerate their leadership activate their gifts, and become heroes of their life. I know better. The spellbinder then pulled off his sleek sunglasses and extended a hand to his two students. It's a great pleasure to meet you both. You too, brother, the artist replied. Your work has helped me make it through some tough times. As the artist spoke these words, he spotted a catamaran overflowing with festively dressed tourists whizzing along in the distance. Another school of fish called capitains could be observed swimming busily in the clear water. The spellbinder spied them, smiled broadly, and then continued. You must be wondering why I'm here, he stated. True, said the entrepreneur as she took off her shoes and twisted her feet into the white sand alongside her companion. Well, I have been advising Mr. Riley since he was a 33-year-old man. All pro athletes have peak performance coaches, and so do all extraordinary business people. You just can't get to iconic alone. He was starting out when we met, but even then he understood that the more one learns, the more one can achieve. Growth is the real sport that the best play every day. Education truly is inoculation against disruption. And as you become better, you will have better within all arenas of your life. I call this the 2x, 3x mindset. To double your income and impact, investment in two core areas, your personal mastery and your professional capability. Love it, the artist said, as he scratched his flabby belly. Then he picked at a decrepit toenail. Mr. Riley understood early on that to rise to world class, you need world class support. You have become fantastic friends over the years. We have shared tremendous joys together, like 5 hour long lunches with palm heart salad, fresh grilled prawns, and excellent French wine here on this private beach of his. The spellbinder stretched his arm into the air. He looked at the mighty mountains. He remained silent for a few moments. And we have experienced deep sorrows together as well, like the time my buddy got sick with cancer just after his 50th birthday. He appeared to have everything a man could desire, but without his good health, he realized he had nothing. That one changed him. Health is the crown on the well person's head that only the ill person can see. Or as one tradition says, when we are young, we sacrifice our health for wealth. And when we grow old and wise, we realize what's more important and become willing to sacrifice all our wealth for every one day of good health. You never want to be the richest person in the graveyard. He beat it, the spellbinder quickly added, staring at the noisy tourists parting on the catamaran, just like he defends himself against everything that tries to defeat his dreams. Stone's an amazing guy. I love him like a brother. Well, look, it really has been good to meet you both. The spellbinder continued. I heard you were coming. Mr. Riley's tremendously excited to share what he promised he would share with you about reaching maximum productivity, sustaining exceptional performance, and creating a life you love by coding in a superior morning routine. I'm pleased he's paying it forward and sharing what I, as his mentor, taught him. You will love all the insights and learning models that will soon be coming your way. The 5 a.m. club will be revolutionary for you both. I know it sounds strange and unbelievable, but being exposed to the methodology Stone is about to teach you will cause outstanding shifts deep within you. Just being around the information will awaken something special in you. The spellbinder put on his chic sunglasses. Anyway, Mr. Riley asked me to tell you to make yourselves at home here. Over the next few days, you won't see a lot of me because I'll be snorkeling, sailing, and fishing most of the time. Fishing is one of the things I most love to do in life. I come down to Mauritius not only to coach the great and kind soul you'll soon meet, I show up here to regenerate, and get away from this overcomplicated world of ours, flushed with so many difficulties, damaged economies, saturated industries, and environmental decays, just to mention a few of the factors that threaten to bring down our creativity, energy, performance, and happiness. I show up here to renew and refuel. Elite production without quiet vacation causes lasting depletion. Rest and recovery isn't a luxury for anyone committed to mastery, it's a necessity. I have taught that principle for many years, yet I forgot it myself and paid the price at the event. I have also learned that the inspiration gets fed by isolation, away from the ceaseless digital diversion and mindless over communication that dominates the hours of the majority these days. And now, too, that your natural genius presents itself when you are most joyful. We get our ideas that change the world when we are rested, relaxed, and filled with delight. This tiny spot in the Indian Ocean helps me reassess my best. It's only a genuine sanctuary of safety, staggering beauty, and awesome gastronomy with affectionate people who still wear their hearts on their sleeves. I just adore the Mauritians. Most still have an appreciation for the wonders of life's simplest pleasures, like family meals or swimming with friends, followed by sharing a roast chicken dinner purchased from the Super U, washed down with an ice cold can of Phoenix. Phoenix, asked the artist. It's the beer of Mauritius, replied the spellbinder. As I must say that everything that tries to defeat his dreams, as I must say that I have always leave the island 100 times stronger, faster, centered, and fired up. I really work hard in my everyday life. I hope this doesn't sound like vanity, but I care so much about uplifting society, and I'm so committed to doing my part to reduce the greed, hatred, and conflict in it. Coming here reconnects me to what's important, so I can go back and work for the world. We all work for the world. Anyway, you two have fun, okay? And thanks again for coming to my seminar and for your positive words. They mean more to me than you could ever know. Anyone can be a critic. Takes guts to be an encourager. Being a high impact leader never requires being a disrespectful person. I wish more leaders understood this principle. Oh, one last thing the spellbinder added as he flicked some sand off his camouflage pattern served shorts. What? Asked the entrepreneur in a respectful tone. Please be here on the beach tomorrow morning. Your training will begin then. Sure, agreed the entrepreneur. What time? 5 a.m. came the reply. Own your morning, elevate your life. Ma'am, can we stop here since it's the end of the chapter?
Yes, yes, yes. Please stop here and you can discuss for next 5 minutes and we'll close the meeting.
Yeah. Uh, any,
You can ask the takeaways and you can give your takeaway.
yeah, any takeaways from the part we read today? Anyone, ma'am, Devama, anyone?
So I love the fact that he speaks about thinking beyond money. I love the fact that he was speaking about how you should be so satisfied in yourself that you should not look for outside validation. Should not, more than outside validation, you should not define yourself based on your uh,
Based on what you have, basically.
not only basically what you have, it's basic you should not define your
Basically, the materialistic happiness, like the materialism that we have.
yes, that's what, yeah. I was just trying to find a different word for it, but
Yeah, okay.
yeah, that's all. I mean, you're not looking at, you should not define yourself based on the money, the power, the status that you have. It is what you are inside that should define you.
Yeah, like a
I love-
very beautiful message portrayed through such a narration, I feel.
Yes, truly, truly. So who would go next?
I'm not understanding what they're trying to tell, ma'am.
Okay, Drishti, you'll go. You'll explain what they're trying to tell.
Yes, ma'am, I can definitely try. So basically, Devama, as they reached on the beach, they're having a conversation with the person. The person is trying to tell that what is more important in life is not what we are achieving as the materialistic value, like how much money we have, how many cars we have, do we have a big house or not. All these things don't matter to us more than how you feel about your soul. Like being a good human being is what is more important to survive in this planet than to how materialistically rich you are. So basically, it tells us about today's lifestyle where everyone is running behind money. Like how we are being so money minded. We just want to earn money. We are forgetting our health also in this this rat race we are a part of. Everyone's forgetting that our health is important and we are sacrificing that. So he's telling us that life is not just, getting rich. It is getting rich, like your soul has to get rich, like by being a good human being. You have to leave these, materialistic visions of being, I feel in short, he's trying to tell us that you have to look beyond these lenses and you need to understand that life is beyond having all these things. Your soul needs to be a giver. Like you have to do something for the world is what your aim should be. Like you should be of some value because you have come to this planet just not to fulfill your needs and satisfactions, but at the end to add value to the society.
And also it means, Devama, that you should try to get a good job, you should work for a good thing, but at the same time you should be a good person. That's the most important thing, being a good person. And as Drishti said, I love the way you put it, Drishti, that when you come, you should add value to the world.
Also, like before in the evening, we have discussed pay forward. So that is what it is continued here also. That what we have taken from the society, we need to give it back. It truly says that there are people with lot of money, but they are not wealthy, because wealth is not measured by the money that we have. It is what we are giving back to the society, how we behave with people. Many people are very rich, but they don't know how to behave with other people, how they look down upon the people those who are not so well financially. So these are the things that the writer wants to explain through the spellbinder.
I think it does the same meaning they have